Alright guys, it's Radiant, and today I've got a video where I do a little challenge where I'm trying to solo supply camps on every single profession. So in this video I actually do just that. I've got basically 8 different clips where each clip is one different profession where I'll solo supply camp on it. The first clip that already ended really, that was Warrior with exotic berserker gear, greatsword longbow, take the aggro, run around the corner, ball them all up, just like I'm doing on Necromancer here, and then blast them area effect till they die. So yeah, I'm on Necromancer now. Also exotic, well not exotic, this is actually green, unfortunately. Berserker gear, you don't want exotic Berserker gear. It's just, of course, I've got 8 characters that I'm doing this on, and I didn't want to get exotic on all of them. At least not specifically for this supply camp solo, just because the amount it cost. This is green Berserker gear, staff and scepter dagger, lots of area effect, which is really important for this because you're balling them all up and then you want to hit 5 at once to kill them. Interrupts are also pretty important. Just in general, unfortunately I don't really have any here. Well, I've got the fear interrupt. I should have... Yeah, the fear mark, you can use that to interrupt the heal. I should have done that on the supervisor. Obviously the supervisor's takes the longest to kill. He's got more health and armor, and if you're interrupting the heal, it'll just make it that much quicker. So now we're on thief. Actually exotic berserker gear, just like my warrior. And sword pistol. The reason why I have sword on the main hand is because the area effect from skill 1 and 3, and then pistol is for the blind. And then the dagger storm reflects projectiles. Pretty good. But basically this video is kind of in order from what I think the best to worst professions are. For soloing supply camps, start off with warrior. My record for that one is 7 seconds for unupgraded, 37 seconds for upgraded. I haven't really tried soloing an upgraded supply camp on anything other than warrior. Thief right here, my record's 30 seconds. Not really sure Necromancer what the fastest would be because I haven't done it that much, and you saw I was in green gear, so exotic gear might be able to do 20-25 seconds. Exotic berserker gear, and of course interrupting the heals would help. But unfortunately I didn't take everything at once this time. With Thief I tried to take as much as I could, but when there's more than 5 of them, you can remember you can only hit up to 5 at once at a time. So once I kind of killed a few, I took the second group and then killed them. That's why this one's a little bit slower, because they're 2 Doliacs. Remember, that really kind of slows it down. Now I'm on Engineer, also green gear, using that excuse that I've got 8 different characters I'm doing this on, and I definitely don't play all 8 characters, as you'll definitely see from my skill level. So this is green carry-on gear. You could use Rabbit gear too, I guess, but I like the... Usually you're going to want to use a condition spec for Engineer, especially roaming. I got the grenades and bombs, and it's very important for Engineer, unlike the previous 3 professions you saw. You have to do a lot of kiting or else you're going to get killed. The other professions had lots of healing or blind, or just like my warrior, killed really quick. But on Engineer you're going to definitely have to be kiting. You can't get away with just standing still because they'll kill you. So yeah, let your condition damage go to work. Make sure you're kiting as you're dropping the grenades and the bombs. It's actually pretty easy to kite and throw this stuff. It's a lot harder to kite and battle on some of the other professions than Engineer. But Engineer probably pretty medium in terms of the speed. And now I'm on not Warrior. Now I'm on Ranger, which many people think is the worst profession. I think it might actually be the easiest profession to solo supply camp on, or at least one of the easier ones. Just because, well, unfortunately it's not one of the fastest ones, but in terms of margin for error and not taking a death, you have a good number of margin for error. You want to have, obviously you're going to have 2 pets, and then one of the pets you want to be tanky, because after the first pet swap there's going to be that 20-second recharge. You want to make sure your pet survives through those 20 seconds. Now, Ranger's kind of different than most of the other professions, because you have your pet, so you want to send in your pet to take the aggro while you're in your berserker gear, which in this case is my green berserker gear, killing the enemies. And remember, you're going to use longbow, short bow, so that you're ranging them while your pet has the aggro. And the stealth skill on your longbow, pretty important to take the aggro off you if the enemies are chasing you, and the barrage skill probably does, well, definitely does most area effect skills, and you definitely want the piercing arrows. Now I'm on Elementalist. In all fairness, if you're running Berserker with staff, it's going to be a little bit quicker than Carry On Dagger, which is what I'm running here. The reason why you don't typically want to run staff is because it's just in general it's horrible at 1v1s and stuff like that. It's great in large groups, but no one really roams solo with a staff just because you can't win a 1v1 with staff. Now I could have done staff in this video, it would have been a little bit quicker. But yeah, that's the reason I did dagger, just because it's typically more common and better at 1v1s, which is not what this video is about by any means. And you can probably tell I'm not playing well. Elementalist was my first character that I got to 80, and then I kind of didn't play it any since then, and that was about a year ago. And I really don't play well at all. I think I go down like twice. I get back up each time. I'm not dodging enough, and I'm sitting in fire attunement too much. I'm not swapping between my attunements enough, even though fire attunement is the best one. You don't want to be sitting in it the whole time. But Northwest camp, which is this camp, it's definitely the hardest one to solo, and it's in this video. This was both Doliacs also. And now is where it really gets terrible. I'm running Guardian, and this is probably the second worst profession at soloing supply camps. All the professions you saw until just now are probably okay at least. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to take everything at once in solo. I tried many times, I couldn't get it to work. I'm running rare Berserker gear here, and really unconventional that I'm using a scepter, scepter and torch. Mostly you're going to see a staff, which is a lot better, but because I'm solo, I'm testing out the scepter damage. You don't want to be solo roaming on Guardian, you don't want to be soloing supply camps on Guardian either. I'm just trying this to complete my challenge, and obviously I didn't do a great job because I had to pull half at a time and then kill them and then pull the other half. One piece of advice, I guess, when you're doing that is try to pull, when you're pulling half at a time, try to hit the scout with melee. That way the rest of the enemies come to you, and then you can kill AoE all that half at once. And actually, the supply camp doesn't contest until the supervisor is aggro. So if he's not aggroed, which didn't actually happen there, then it's not even going to be contested yet. Now here, this one's really bad. This is Mesmer, which could be the worst supply camp solo profession. Now you can definitely, on Mesmer, you can take everything at once and solo the supply camp. Now you need the right build, which I don't have here. First of all, I'm running green gear, and it's green Berserker, and I'm running a Shadow build. But if you have the right build and you're good at Mesmer, and I have neither of those, I'm not good at it either, you can actually solo a supply camp taking everything at once. Now I couldn't because I'm not good enough, and my build isn't good either, and I don't have exotic gear. So actually when I got all my characters level 80, all 8 professions, I actually noticed that nothing really translated to being good at Mesmer. The way the clones work, the kind of unique thing about the Mesmer, nothing else really translated at all. Like Warrior and Guardian, those weren't really hard for me to pick up because some of the other professions really translated well. Nothing translated well into Mesmer, and you can definitely see this was absolutely horrible. Most of you watching, I'm sure, are much better at Mesmer than me, and can solo a supply camp with Mesmer a lot quicker than I'm doing here. I'm just, of course, taking a few at a time to make it easier, but unfortunately it makes it take a lot longer when you do that. Which is why I sped it up, because no one probably wants to watch it, but this was my opportunity to complete the challenge on soloing a supply camp on all professions. I'd like to try actually it again, to try the challenge again and see if I can get Guardian and Mesmer, if I can solo supply camp taking everything at once, which I did with really every profession except for those two. That would be really cool to do. Really, this video is wrapping up now, about 20 more seconds. But if you do want to watch a supply camp solo guide where I solo every supply camp on the Borderland and kind of explain how each of the different supply camps in the Borderlands work in terms of soloing them, the good pull spots. I'll leave a link to that video in the description, and well, that's all, so thanks for watching.